Let me know whenever you guys are ready.
Connie.
Given a couple minutes just to make sure, so. Yeah. Everybody ready? Okay. Good morning. I'm Scott Vanderschaft, Washington County Attorney. Today we've asked members of the press to be here to inform the public as to the update status on the Linda Childers case. I would first like to send my deepest condolences to the Childers family, relatives, friends, for their loss in this matter. I want to assure the public that we live in a safe community, that our law enforcement work tirelessly to make sure that we are protected and safe. With that said, this morning we have asked for an arrest warrant for an individual by the name of Mr. William P. Collins. Mr. Collins, we've also asked that a complaint be filed in the county court involving charges of first-degree murder, burglary, use of a weapon, and other felony charges in connection with the death of Linda Childers. Mr. Collins has been located and taken into custody. He is currently in the state of Texas, where he is awaiting extradition to the state of Nebraska. I would like to express my thanks and gratitude to the Washington County Sheriff's Department, to the Omaha Police Department, Douglas County Sheriff's Department, the U.S. Marshals, and the Douglas County Attorney's Office and their assistance in helping us to solve this matter. We do not believe that there was a connection involved with Mr. Collins and Ms. Childers. This appears to have been an act of and motivated by money and appears to be something that was done out of haste or necessity by Mr. Collins. I will let the sheriff talk about some things. Unfortunately, as this is an ongoing matter and we've just asked for our arrest warrant, we are not able to share too many details with the public as to the circumstances or nature surrounding the death. We have limited information on Mr. Collins that we are developing at this time. It appears that Mr. Collins has been traveling around the Midwest. He found his way to Nebraska, where he stayed for a limited period of time. He then left the jurisdiction of Nebraska after this incident and has been again within the Midwest, finally going down to the Texas area where he was located by Texas authorities and the U.S. Marshals. I will go ahead and let Sheriff make us a brief statement. We can take some questions after he's done.
Thank you. I also want to take the opportunity to thank the Omaha Police Department, Chief Schmaderer, Captain Jeremy Christensen, and homicide detectives for the Omaha Police Department. Douglas County Sheriff Eric Hansen, Douglas County CSI, and the crime scene techs who processed the scene of the homicide. I also want to thank Saunders County Sheriff Chris Lichtenberg, who assigned one of his detectives, who was assigned to the 3 Corps Drug Task Force, to assist in this investigation. The Sheriff's Office itself, we had 9 deputies actively working this case at a time. In the last 17 days, we've put in over 1,700 man hours, countless number of overtime hours. their dedication to this investigation is very humbling to myself. Got a lot of pride in these people. Specifically, Chief Deputy Mitch Robinson, Captain Steve Bolton, Captain Shane Thallis, Lieutenant Dave Volanek, Sergeant Brian Beckman, Detective Greg Corns, Detective Sam Baca, Detective Brian Lundgren, Detective Holmquist, and Deputy Rob Bellamy. Can't go into a lot of detail about how the homicide occurred or how we were able to locate the individual. What I will say is there was a phone tip we received from a woman in Indiana who gave us information on the homicide that only the person who committed the act would know. We sent 2 detectives out there to interview her, which confirmed what we knew to have taken place and the name of the individual, William Paul Collins. Followed up on that and located him down in Texas. We'll try to answer any questions we can. Understand it's still an ongoing investigation. We're still following up on some stuff, but that's where we're at so far.
I'm sorry, can you please clarify, you said he was under arrest, but you have an arrest warrant?
He is currently being held in the state of Texas on unrelated matter.
Oh, okay.
And so we are applying for an arrest warrant to have him extradited back to the state of Nebraska.
Okay, so he's being held arrested on an unrelated charge?
That is correct.
And you're seeking an arrest warrant for this?
Correct.
Okay, I'm sorry, it's my first time.
That's okay.
Would you mind saying and spelling your name, please?
My name is Scott. Last name is Vanderschaft. It's V as in Victor, A-N-D-E-R-S-C-H-A-A-F as in Frank.
No, okay.
Nope.
Title?
I'm the county attorney, Washington County attorney.
And Sheriff Michael?
Yes, Sheriff Mike Robinson.
Okay, one more question. Was this guy ever bar before shooting murder?
We can't really comment on that. What I would say is that at this time, it does not appear that there is a connection between our victim, Ms. Childers, and Mr. Collins.
About the phone tip in Indiana, can you say who this woman was? How does she know this?
We can't divulge any more information in regards to that, as this is an ongoing case, and obviously the assistance was greatly appreciated by law enforcement. So at this time, we will not name that individual.
Can you clarify, did her phone tip lead and help officials to find Collins in Texas?
The answer to that would be she provided some assistance in regards to who this individual was, but did not know his whereabouts. We were able to verify his whereabouts through other means.
Okay, thank you. A couple more questions. What can you say about how Collins found his way to the victim's home? What can you say at this time?
We can't say too much at this time. As I indicated, it appears to have been more of a random act than anything else. We are not certain exactly where Mr. Collins was staying within the state. We're not certain how he would have gotten to that area right north of Fort Calhoun at this time. There are some things there that hopefully through the continued investigation and interview process with Mr. Collins that we will be able to develop that.
And what can you say at this time about how federal officials found Collins in Texas? What was that? How did that go down?
I don't want to comment on that right now. 2 of my detectives were very instrumental in locating him where he was in Texas. One of those officers he is assigned to the Fugitive Task Force in Nebraska. And that's how we got the connection in making the calls to marshals in Texas.
So just to clarify, some officials from Washington County helped find Collins in Texas?
Yes.
Washington County, Omaha, Texas.
We had a lot of help from a lot of agencies. Ultimately, the folks at Washington County Sheriff's Department were able to not only develop the leads on Mr. Collins, but were able to also assist in finding him when he was located in Texas. Then obviously the Texas authorities were involved at that time.
This is kind of a really big deal for a smaller jurisdiction and a big case. A lot of people are on edge. Can you speak to that?
I was raised here, Fort Calhoun. I'm 62 years old now. I knew Linda. She was a friend. Her and her husband, who passed away from a car accident here about a year ago, were very instrumental in the community. They had owned a hardware store for years, and then a cafe, the Hardware Cafe in Fort Calhoun. So they're well known in the community. And for something like this to happen to Linda, it makes no sense. This was strictly a random crime of opportunity. And the community was shocked because it happened to somebody like Linda Childers.
How would you describe her?
Very nice, sweet lady. Always friendly.
Was she ill?
We don't have any information on that.
Can you guys talk more about how Omaha Police and the Douglas County Sheriff's Office helped out?
Well, Omaha Police was able to allow us to use some of their detectives to help do interviews and also conduct phone research. Douglas County was instrumental in going through the crime scene with the CSI. They were also able to assist us in manpower and chasing down some leads, looking at as this case developed. So again, when we contacted both of those agencies, each agency indicated whatever resources they could provide to us. We were able to get, I did speak with the Douglas County Attorney's Office on some other matters. They were offering assistance as well. So it was nice to see everybody working together towards a mutual resolution, and also the fact that they, at a moment's notice, were able to let us have one of their detectives to help us out on a matter.
Another follow-up to a question from earlier. I know you guys are saying you can't say too much about this tipster from Indiana, but could you guys speak at this time about how this woman knew Collins was in Nebraska?
I certainly do not want to be evasive. We cannot broach that subject at this time. I mean, again, we probably we can't divulge too much at this time. We've asked for an arrest warrant. There's information that's been sealed that talks about some of the stuff. At a later point in time, once Mr. Collins is brought back to the state of Nebraska, that he's been arraigned, and as the case develops, we may be able to share more of that information. I think at this time, though, for her safety and anonymity, we're just not going to address that at this time.
Thank you. Another question about Mr. Collins. You said he was traveling across the Midwest and staying in Nebraska. Was he on the run, and how does somebody fly under the radar? It sounds concerning if you lived here. Can you touch on all those things?
We don't know the origin of Mr. Collins. I mean, we know who he is. We understand that he was staying in various places around Omaha area, around the Washington County area. We don't have that information to provide to you. In regards to what happened after the incident, it's our understanding he left the state. I do not know and cannot comment on where he went. We're told that he was in the Midwest area for a period of time. He then ends up in Texas. I don't know the route he took or how he got there. He was staying in motels, is our understanding. We don't have a lot of that information, only because he was just picked up yesterday on unrelated matter. He's being held by the Texas authorities. We've asked for the arrest warrant. I don't have a lot of information to provide to you as to what were his whereabouts after he left Nebraska. It certainly, one of our concerns has been public safety the whole time. As soon as we were alerted to Mr. Collins, I believe within 24 to 48 hours, he was in custody. So although the impact, and we knew that we had to try and find this individual, we also were concerned that if he knew we were looking for him, he might do other crimes of violence. We were concerned that he might try to harm, other individuals. That was weighed against trying to make sure that we had the correct information to pick up Mr. Collins and working with other agencies to do so.
Would you characterize him as a drifter?
I don't know that I would characterize him as a drifter. I don't know that he had a permanent address, but he had access to a vehicle of his own. He had access to other things. Again, we're not certain. I don't believe that the term drifter, though, would be appropriate.
He was described to us as a minimalist. He needed a minimal amount of anything to survive, and that's how he liked to live.
Can you tell us what jurisdiction houses him currently?
Has him now?
Has him down.
Galveston County, Texas.
Sheriff, you seem to speak with a lot of emotion. This is home to you.
Yes, it is. It's home for all my guys. It absolutely is. sure the people and protecting them. But if something does happen, we're going to do whatever we have to do to find out who's responsible and bring them to justice.
Are you looking for any more suspects?
Not at this,
No.
yeah, not at this time. That could change again because Mr. Collins is in custody and it's my understanding is talking. So
I'm sorry, you might have mentioned this, but I know earlier on that you were concerned about the vehicle. What can you tell me?
well, the vehicle was pivotal to the case. I mean, we needed to locate the vehicle, and certainly, again, exhaustive matters were taken in the state. Once it was developed that the vehicle may have left the state, then there were other matters that were pressing as well. But Mr. Collins was found in possession of the vehicle.
As experts in law enforcement, can you each talk about how unusual this is and this suspect is in the situation around him?
I mean, again,
I mean, similar thing. It's unusual. It's unusual that it happened here. It's unusual.
Could you speak to how
been an attorney for 25 years. I've done a lot of things, and certainly these, again, I would echo what Sheriff says, which is this is a random act of violence. And so does it surprise me here? Yeah. I mean, I've not lived here all my life like Sheriff, but we live in the community and believe it to be a safe community. And so we work well with law enforcement. Those are the things that are good. In regards to, saying, hey, on a level of, how different is this? I think, anytime you have a random act of violence, it will always be shocking and always be difficult to understand why this happens or what was motivated or how that individual was able to do the things they do. But beyond that, I would just be hypothesizing.
Is there anything else that you could tell us or anything have an
The only thing I can come back, once the arrest warrant is granted, my understanding is it's with Judge Barron as we speak. He and I had a phone call in regards to a couple matters. Once that is done, it'll be uploaded into our system. It'll get down to the Texas authorities, and then the extradition process will happen. So if Mr. Collins chooses to come back to the state willingly, he could be here as soon as the next 2 to 3 weeks. Should he decide to resist extradition for whatever legal reason he chooses to, it could be a little bit longer than that before he comes back to the state of Nebraska, and he has his arraignment. So the timetable-wise, I'm not certain. We're hopeful to have him back sooner than later, but he will be brought to the state of Nebraska for justice. He will start in county court, which is where all felony cases start. So the room right that's over here is where he'll have his first arraignment when that happens.
He'll be housed here at the Washington County Jail.
Yeah.
Is he charged first degree?
Yes. Connie, you have anything?
Actually, do we know if he has prior instances or incidents like this? Does this man have a history?
I can't comment on that at this time. I know that we've done background checks, but unfortunately, right at this second, I can't answer that question.
What I will follow up on is we did notify the family about 10 o'clock this morning that we had an arrest in the case. So.
Cheyenne, you have anything? Okay. Any other questions or anything else?
Any idea how, like, what was taken and how he knew that she had money?
I don't know that we know what he knew. Whether or not he believes she had some funds or not, we don't know. We believe that this is motivated by the idea of a burglary of some type. As you can see, we've charged the individual with burglary. We've also charged him with possession of a stolen firearm. So there were things that were taken from the residence. We're still looking at how much currency was taken. We're not exactly certain. But it appears as though Mr. Collins was in need of some funds, or he believed he might be able to find something by breaking into a home. And so I believe that's where we're at. We don't know exactly what monetary value he got from any items at the house. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to know what Mr. Collins would have thought. I would believe that the reason he did this was he thought he could get some items of value out of a home. And so, yeah, I don't have any knowledge of what Mr. Collins might have thought, but there isn't, due to the fact that there's no connection that we know of between these two individuals, it seems to be more of an opportunistic crime where, you know, Mr. Collins believes that he can get something out of a home or something of monetary value to either sell or possess so that he could continue to live on his own.
Did any other family members, had they seen him?
No, not that we're aware of.
Do we know about when it was that she was killed and before the time the body was discovered?
We believe that the timeline would be late Saturday night, early Sunday morning, or Sunday afternoon. The body was not discovered until 1:30 in the morning, Sunday night, Monday morning. So we believe, though, that from what we've seen, it would have been a crime that would have occurred on or about the 12th, 13th is the range. That would be the Saturday night, Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon area. That would be, if I have my dates correct, which I'm pretty certain that I do. I'll check. She was found Sunday night, Monday morning.
Monday morning about 1:30.
Yeah, so
Can you guys confirm, is Mr. Collins from Morristown, Indiana?
we cannot confirm that this is, at this time, we don't have that information. We do not.
That's all part of the investigation.
It doesn't appear he was passing through. He had been here for a period of time. So we had information he was staying in Omaha, but we have not been able to confirm that or we did not find him at any address that we might have associated with him at the time. But we had information he was staying in the Omaha area. Okay, thanks, guys.